Hello, YouTube. Ha, the end of cycles. Oh, how many of them have we had recently? I don't know about you, but I've been feeling very physically exhausted the last 2 days. I don't nap during the day. Today and yesterday, I ended up taking a 2-hour nap, which is new and it's interesting. It's almost as if my body is preparing or craving some rest in preparation for to be able to store more energy that's coming as a result of embodying into the closer representation of who I see myself to be. And so one thing for me that the energy of the nine has been teaching me recently is the necessity and requirement to be able to hold yourself 100% responsible and accountable for your actions and for everything that we're experiencing in life right now. I personally believe that everything that happens in our external world is a mirror reflection of everything that's happening internally. And so, although we can't control what's external to us, we can impact how the external is experienced by controlling our internal world. And so, for me, the realizations that I've had today and yesterday, but today especially, I spent maybe 3 hours journaling and just being very transparent and honest with myself as to noticing all of these repeated patterns come up in the forms of resistance when it comes to taking action towards the vision that I have, that I'm creating. And really being non-judgmental and not feeling guilty of showing up in a way in which I don't want to show up, but just acknowledging what are the things that are coming up and really going deep into the reasons as to why that particular behavior is beneficial to me. Otherwise, why do we keep doing anything if some way or another that action or that belief benefits us in somehow? And that benefit could be simply the knowingness and the comfort of the known feeling, albeit that feeling is actually causing suffering and it's actually holding us back. But because we're so familiar with being in that state, we fear letting it go because it means stepping into the unknown, which is something that our ego doesn't like. It doesn't like discomfort. It doesn't like change. And so all the excuses, all the reasons not to do something to convince you out of the direction of your heart's way is all the mind and the ego trying to latch on to what it knows. But it's important to understand that the ego is a co-pilot. It is the soul and the immortal within that is in the pilot seat. And so this isn't to completely ignore or disregard or disconnect with the ego. No, it's a very important part of who we are as human beings. And it's a very powerful tool, and it keeps us in check for survival. It is a huge part of who we are. But it's a matter of cultivating a relationship to essentially the voice of your inner child. And all the restrictions and all the limitations that our ego has convinced us are ours are a result of all the wiring and programming and conditioning we experienced as kids. And so it's about really cultivating a kinder, more compassionate and loving relationship to the ego, in the sense where you're able to work through these limitations and see them come up in particular moments and give it gratitude and love, and really detach yourself from the feeling enough so you can be an observer of all the things that are coming up, and being grateful for all the lessons that it's presenting, because that's what they are. They're opportunities for us to see what this is holding us back from, and understanding that it is not benefiting us to hold on to these, and all the ways in which it is benefiting us currently are destructive and slowing us down, because it feeds emotions of fear or shame or a lack of self-worth or an inability, or a perception of inability to do something, which is just completely untrue, completely false. And so bringing that awareness, bringing those shadows into light is the first step, and accepting them as part of who you are, and not trying to ignore them or run away from them or abandon them. No, they're a crucial part of who we are. And it's up to us to hold ourselves responsible and accountable to do something about it, and really see them as opportunities for growth, which is what they are. It's just the growth is uncomfortable and it's hard. But there's no easy way through this journey. There's a hard of choosing to live by these limiting belief systems that keeps us in a comfortable state. But in the heart and in the soul, you know that you want something, you know that there's something greater for you that's out there, but you feel so disconnected to it. That's hard. And the other hard is understanding that no, we have full control and autonomy in creating our lives, and it's up to us to detach ourselves from all the beliefs that hold us back in thinking otherwise. And that process of transmutation is also hard. So which hard do you choose? There is no shortcut. There's no easy way through this process, but that's the point. No game is fun to play if it's super easy. Eventually you get bored of it. It needs to have challenges. It needs to test you. It needs you to require to develop your skills and just show up better and just level up as a character in a game. And so that's the hard that I choose. And it's hard. It really is. But I'm so grateful to have the support system that I have with my family, my friends, and being part of this community, and just being surrounded by nature and having the freedom to really step into what it is that I want to do. And so it's up to me to make the most of it and not feel guilty that I'm in a position where most people might dream about, but actually using it as a position of strength to lead and inspire, because I'm nothing special. I'm able to, what I'm able to do and create is something anyone and everyone is able to do and create. And my opinion is, in order to be a true leader and inspire others, we must lead by example and show that we can do it. Because once we can show that we can do it, others believe that too, that they can do it. And so the energy of 9 is incredibly potent this time around for me, really being honest and transparent with what are the boundaries that I really need to hold with myself, and how can I, if I'm looking for a different outcome, then I must take different action. And so if the current routine, current way in which I'm flowing through life is resulting in an outcome that isn't what I prefer, then, and I want something opposite to that, then I must completely opposite my flow of action. And so in the implementation of that, instead of waking up at like between 4, usually eat between 3:30 to 4:30 is my typical routine in the morning. More recently, so it's been around 5 or 6, but generally speaking, it's around the early hours in the morning. And I've been convincing myself that waking up at this time is actually more productive for me in terms of my workflow. But the truth is, if I just simply observe the last 2 weeks, I felt more creative in using my channel to creativity to be expressed. And that includes like journaling or meditation or just simply playing music and just relaxing into the day instead of just going deep into editing videos early in the morning. Like, that's not how I want to spend my energy. I noticed that my body isn't responding well to that. And just 2 nights ago, I ended up working in the evening hours and ended up working till at 1:30 a.m. And I noticed how much more cleaner my focus was. I just dropped into a zone and just plugged away for hours. And so I also know that about myself, that I can work in the morning and also work in the nighttime. But I just find myself being more productive, and almost like the urgency of the day ending spurring me into action. Even though this isn't ideal, I just know myself that that is how I function. And then so I'm not going to fight it, because I've consistently tried to fight it and ended up expressing the same trait, which is getting the work done when I know I'm going to get it done. And sometimes I need the pressure of time to kick my butt into action. It's just what it is. And so I'm not going to fight that. I'm going to use that as, I'm going to get in alignment with that. And so I'm going to be starting to do that and really shift my action and seeing if my output is better in that case. But yeah, I shared a lot about my personal sort of process instead of talking a lot about numbers, but I think it's important and reflective of the depth of how I guess I utilize numerology on a daily basis, and really tune in to the importance of being mindful of your internal process. And I'm very grateful to be able to share live on YouTube every day, because it allows me to do that even on days where I haven't tapped into it. And so the energy of 9 it's tough. It's the end of a cycle, start of a new one, and it will force out things to be addressed if you've not been dealing with it during the cycle. And if certain topics are carried through many cycles without it being addressed, it simply adds on the emotional charge and the weight of the baggage, until eventually it comes to a point where the imbalance is so strong it's being physically manifested. Like, the energy of that baggage is so dense that it's completely distorting your inner world, which is being projected in the outer world as certain events or certain scenarios or situations you end up experiencing that really shock you and throw you out of alignment. And so it's almost like a regular cleansing process, where on days which are 9s or have the energy of the 9 somewhere within it, it's a moment of reflection and refinement and letting go and holding boundaries and really being clear in the direction that we're stepping into. And that's the real utility of numerology, being able to use the codes as a guideline energetically, how to tune yourself in alignment to the collective, and really allow that to be your compass and your guide in being with the flow with nature. And I think that's just so beautiful, right? And so moving on to tomorrow, we have the 5th of April, 2026, which is a 19, which simplifies down to a 1. And so, again, coming out of the end of the cycle today, the 4th of April being a 9, tomorrow is a 1, which represents the start of a new cycle. It's the renewal of the vision and being very clear on the steps that are required to execute that vision, and then taking action towards that. And so a lot of the hard work is done in the energy of the 9, really. And so it's like clearing the space of your container during the energy of the 9 and opening up that space to whatever new lessons and opportunities are to be experienced in the next cycle, which starts tomorrow. And so, yeah, the energy of the 1 is going to require you to show up and step up in a way which is independent of everybody else. This is the lone wolf's energy. And it's a matter of really taking ownership and stepping into your inner leader and leading yourself with intention and with authority, with clear direction. And if you feel stuck or lost or feel like you're in a loop and you're still caught in some sort of energetic tie which is holding you back from even simply just receiving clarity on what the vision is, then that's a sign that the connection between the heart and mind it requires attention. And often when we feel in a state of stuckness or lost, it's because we're so immersed in the distortion and out of balance flow in which we're going through life, convincing ourselves that this is actually what it is we want, where it's not what the heart wants. And it's clear because your body is reacting to that. Our body does not have the capacity to lie. And so if it's feeling stuck, then there's energetic shifts that need to be addressed. And physical exercise is a great way to move that, whether it's dancing, lifting weights, running, swimming, whatever it is. But just moving that energy within can help bring clarity with these certain thoughts and realizations to the surface that can help transmute any shadows that you identify into the light. And again, it's about taking responsibility and accountability of just being true and honest with yourself without any judgment or any guilt. 17 minutes. Wow. This is, that went really quickly. And I hope you enjoyed that stream of consciousness. I feel pretty complete. Thank you for listening to my shares. I don't personally want to withhold any information or any sense of experience that I feel might be valuable to you. And so if you have any questions, if you enjoyed this and you have something to share, or even some feedback, or simply you're curious to getting a one-on-one numerology reading and going deep into your numbers and finding real clarity and reminding you of who you are, then please feel free to contact me. The information is in the description below. And thank you for tuning in. I bid you a good night, grand rising, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, wherever you're watching this. And as always, I shall see you again tomorrow. Good night.